Okay then, hello, welcome to stream. It's finally time for some more Ace Attorney. I don't remember much what happened, cause I am now, so much happened these last few days, so I'm completely out of the loop. Okay. Day 3 trial former. Was it? Oh yeah. February 24th. Today's what? 28. I actually forgot that one. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Nana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. I just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters though. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much. So I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you're... Much to my regret. I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Kai. Found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. Let me see if I remember that. Ah, Marshall, I think. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall, yes. What kind of trace? Wait, what kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's a trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're gonna accuse Mr. Marshall. You have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Okay. Court is now in... No? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution's... I'm afraid you have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach a police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Miss Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder of the police at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Okay, let's go with that for now. Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murder? Huh. Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Ah, yes, you. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yeah, yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murder, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I never kill anyone again, sir. You've gotta believe me, sir. This guy. Actually, I would like to hear from his, Sir, more we call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Miss Edra. Sir, help me, sir. He also gets that. Sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I'm part of the generation that must be told what to do, sir. Wait, the game completely going silent is not something I expected. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen, and I rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it, sir. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Was that other officer by any chance Gumshoe? Huh. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted. And a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yeah, yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Press everything, AK. Mr. Meekins, you work in General Affairs in the General Defense. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was so unsure it wasn't broken during the transfer process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. So that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck, with the same pose as you're doing right now. Great. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? Yes. Yes, it would. Good. There it is. Found it. This is the one right here. It has to be the third one, right after address. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir. That's not the voice. I see, huh? But the number twice. Used twice, yes. Once before, Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I don't know why Phoenix is surprised. The first one to put the thing in, and then Bruce Goodman goes in, and Mike Meekins goes in after him. Please explain, witness. Hey, it's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. Exactly. Wait, no? I guess. I see. So it was during that second time when... yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Da-da-da-da-da. It's fair, I don't know what to... Don't think there's anything to press on that. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. English! You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's harsh, mate. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. Then I did it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into Kung Fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife. I spun it around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. Okay. So, you didn't even see it. What a witness. I see. Must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew... yes? He punched me right in my face, sir. Then I passed out and another officer smacked me awake. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Somebody could have told you, my man. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you covered, that is. When I came around though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the blue badger, sir. I returned them to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. Definitely. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it? Oh, what's that? Videotape. Yes, sir. That's absolutely right. A videotape, sir. Contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. What? I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. So show us the video of you murdering the victim. Please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Power of the DS Part 2. Oh, big. Of course you can't see his face. Of course. Glove falls down. Meekins? Hello, hello. It's a weird place to put a security camera, but sure. Yep. Okay, that looks more like Meekins is the one who got murdered. Wait, I think there was some blood? Huh. What? Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, was the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's a blue badger, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Yep, up. Let me look at it again. I'll speed it up. Thankfully, the music isn't there now. So, it's lit up. It's the only one that's lit up. He opens it. A glove falls out. There's no... I thought I saw blood before. Let's see. Meekins? Ah, that's why there's blood, okay. Because, you know, hurt, you know... But... Hold on. Because I think there's a small little mistake. So, which hand does he get hurt on? It looks like he got hurt on the right hand, but the blood went on his shoulder from on his left shoulder, which makes no sense. Yes, well, anyway, the tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room. Wait, was it? I carried it. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that right with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir, as you wish, sir. Mystery man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker, equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to be Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Don't need to press that. I'll press it, but I'm not gonna read everything. Good look at him, at the face of the man. It's not now, seen or not seen? Not seen. Yes, you're the one person. Well, that's a problem. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seeing it. Since his face can't be identified in the video. Only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? I had to label your stairs as disturbing or... Meerkats. Chicken. Having been shown a questionable video at best. We are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claimed the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are so positive it was him. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. The only response to it is just a fingerprint, sir. Wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to it registers fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir, and this too. So. Okay, so I don't know how I'm gonna go about proving this, but so I instantly noticed it's the only one on, yeah? And if it's on, the indicator lamp lights up, which means it has been opened before. Okay, this works. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there's one thing in particular that seems rather strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction. Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense point out this alleged contradiction in the video. You would want me to point out? Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in a video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where's the Well... right there. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. Why did they play this music again? When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to a very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. So slow. I'm gonna go check Twitter. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Wait. Here, notice the light. What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. I'm not gonna say anything when that happens. The chicken noise is already perfect. Order. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Well, not on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well. It just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor. Yes, why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor? Something jam the sensor. Say, there's something else that seems out of place in the video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Well, that happened again. So, A. I don't know why the locker would, the mechanism would be there exactly. Not on the side, but it is what it is. Please watch closely. This is a continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh, why do you have to show it again? I get it. The thing fell off. Ah, I just realized. Felt that something was wrong. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. Often fall out and roll great distances when I open my car doors, sir. We can't be sure the item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? Ah! I'm gonna drink water. Hydrate. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times when I get stuck in the door, but when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. They said something else, but instead of the door closing, it chokes me. I think it said, but it happened so fast. But the object would have been extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator, but the crime scene. So this might have been something that fits the description. Was it? Where is it? Extremely thin rubber glove. Doesn't look extremely thin, but you gotta work with what you got. But sir, by insulator you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? I was in this insulator that was stuck in the locker door. Oh yeah, take that. Wait. Yeah, it looks even thicker here. Well, it is what it is. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. Well, I can't be sure that I was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is it not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would have been so sad. Hold on. So we have to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman. Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video is indeed Bruce Goodman. Prosecution would offer one more testimony to prove this. What? You what? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? I don't know. Very well. Begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2! Is there one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir? To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. An ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. The ID card record. I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514th. Hey, 514 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt. This is the victim's ID. However, one thing that struck me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been dutifully transferred. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special. I can't say special now. Special. Special cases. Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. I imagine someone with long hair, or like extremely long hair, just having goosebumps and just whoop, everything just goes up, like they're standing upside down. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. Ha 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 ha. Very funny as Phoenix. There were only a few cases up for transfer there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination. Okay, let's see what we have. ID card was there, but doesn't explain that. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards? Yes, he said so, Yes. What if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it on my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time is my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. Yes, it's obvious, because... Wait, what did I... What? Probably pressed something at the last second. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. The other crime scene. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. When he shouts is a bit awkward sometimes. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report. That's only half completed. It shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. Oh, actually dropping frames. Back in business? Yeah. Can't say for sure, but there's a high possibility. Okay. I don't get two notifications for the same thing. Anyway. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. I pause. Order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. It's gonna bring back all of the blame on Lana, because that's the only murder that can be proven. That's his plan. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? Phoenix? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing a finger around. Now you're doing that. This isn't going to end well. Well, it seems you finally realized exactly why you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Sky, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. I don't know about trustworthy, but sure. Yeah, that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? Hold on. That was Jake Marshall. That would explain the bloody handprint. However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. So, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else, Lana. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Personally, I would... Oh, no. I will just wait, because... Yes. I mean, I completely agree with the point that... exactly as it is, because it's definitely not her. I mean, it's not him that how do I say this? Yeah, so it's definitely, the murder definitely happened. Well, I don't know how to say, so I'm just gonna. I better pace myself. If I rush ahead, might run right into another trap. But Mr. Wright, if you don't do anything. Seems the defense is out of ammunition. Surrender flag has been raised. Honor, may we have your ruling now? Ah, you mean like that? Ah, yeah, I guess. Don't give up, Mr. Wright. Get up and fight. Objection. Okay, one moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me your objection to what you just proven. Of course not. I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. Security video does not show the actual murder. Why do I keep looking at this? However, it cannot be said that this is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court will examine this further, although witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. That's right, do you mean? Your Honor, defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh. Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? Can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees with the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear the testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. What is a subpoena? Subpoenaed. Lemonade. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Oh, hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. No, you did. Every time. But it's fine. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You've got a lot of nerve. You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around the while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey. I didn't see you, but...
Wait. Yeah. What happened there?
I didn't see you there, Chief. Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you bought what I asked? Why do I have to do this?
You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my requests. My name?
Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident. But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the Chief Prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Miss Sky was a witness. Okay, incident number SL9. Closed. Operator Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder, sentence, death. That's pretty obvious. Victims, Edward Jones. Where? My throat. Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, and Neil Marshall. Trial data, head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses, Lana Sky and Emma Sky. Investigation Task Force, executive investigators, Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman. Investigators, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It's almost every name. Well, every name except the perpetrator and the victims are people who we know. What a coincidence!
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murderers. Oh what? Now I bought you stuff, you just gonna ignore me.
Emma? But why? Why is your name in here? What? My name is there? I don't know, unless... No, couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago. The rest of the world knew it as... the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark... No. No, Lana. That's over with. No! Oh, that sounded like she fainted. Emma, wait. She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. Already did. To be continued. Trial letter. February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Well, there he is. Just realized something. In the last stream,
we found some blood on a cactus. And that's also where he hangs his clothes, if I'm not mistaken. If we go with the idea that good old Jake Marshall was the fake Goodman, he's let's call it a poncho, would have been stained with blood as well. Well, no, his hand. But given that that came from his shoulder, some blood must have gone there too. But whatever he had must have hung on the cactus. Horrible choice, considering what a cactus has. But if that's how we go with it, that would mean that... that's a possibility. Anyway, witness, please state your name and occupation. How are you talking?
Me, partner? I'm just a man, same as you. Wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner.
Oh, what do you mean?
Desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime, in plain old English. Please.
Day of crime.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down.
A pub?
I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo this time, I hit the trail.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
Can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Damn. Wait a minute, what do you mean by 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers?
Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He is not being very helpful.
He's not that good with following machines. Or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Miss Wright, he's all yours.
Great. So.
Wait.
But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard the words I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Not Desperado I know, let rules get in his way.
No Desperados I know joined the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime?
Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that?
Sorry, partner, can't say I do. Haven't been in that crypt in weeks.
Sure. How does this guy avoid being fired? Good question. Yeah, we already talked about that.
What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Western spaghetti, of course. Not even a... Okay. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat up Paula's vongole sepia pasta. Okay, not Western, I guess. Vongole sepia pasta. Vongole. I'm gonna look it up. Oh. Sepia is brown, I knew that. But it's I don't know about brown because I'm seeing a lot. Okay, let's do this. No. Come on, give me a second. Guess it'll be something like this. Which is interesting, because it's basically clam pasta, clam spaghetti with this is Nero, which is Nero di Sepia, which is black cuttlefish ink. But sepia means brown, so I don't know where that brown comes from. Interesting. Look into it a bit more in my own time, probably. Do you mean to tell? Ouch! I just dropped my controller on my phone. I don't know why. It shouldn't have hurted that much. But it did. Do you mean to tell us?
Wait, do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. Lesson?
That's strange. This is usually what Edgeworth says. Did you not want to race this here? Why have anything? Yeah, okay. So what is it? Should just keep pressing? Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence, if you plan to pin me to there. Sorry? Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. I see your horse is waiting to carry me back to west into the sunset.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything.
Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Here, I'll jump out of my sleeve, so I'd best get my coat. Before I use it though, I'd better up the ante. How? Actually, you don't physically enter the evidence room, yes. You used to be a detective. You've used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course.
Of course! Wait, no. Of course. Back in my day, the locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. So, partner, I'm good with machines. Couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. It's not even a machine. Kinda, but still. Sensors on the lockers cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now they mentioned it. Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that it's relevant to crime. What could it be? Wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Questions, questions, questions. What could it have been? Ah, yes. Forgot about this. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. I only wish it were. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness. Hey, witness. What's the meaning of this? That was a bit loud. Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away. However, a luminal test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall. Seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. Take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints on the scene of the crime. Okay? Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be the same place as that blood-stained handprint. We found evidence that suggests the difference, but it's not something I can present. Neither touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Wouldn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. The witness's explanation is valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. So then, what about the bloody handprint? It wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one would argue just opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. That's one thing straight, partner. I ain't gonna get no reward for me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's gotta do with breakfast while the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. How do you know that? Maybe alone, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain in the scene thought to be left with by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place the hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Can't let him squirm out of this one. I've got to find something. Something decisive to tie Officer Marshall to this crime. Wait, I'm not gonna watch this, but I'm pretty sure nothing in the video suggests something like that. It's not this one though. Of course not. Unrelated. Okay. I was starting to get the picture, partner. It's not what I wanted to do. The picture. The seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. Yeah? There's only one reality, and that's this. Security tape. So long as my trailer isn't there, we can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us. This isn't getting us anywhere, Miss Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Eh? What do you mean by that? Gonna tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is only the direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless, it's full of blind spots. What? Blind spots. Places you can't see. Cameras panning back and forth, the floor isn't shown. Someone was familiar with the camera's position. They could have left the room without being caught on tape. I don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this room that indicates Officer Marshall was present,
Please do so now.
I'll try. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright. Or you might wind up being the one that making the mistake. Well then, let's have another look at the video. Aha. I see. Take that. Bringing out your attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Days are short in Texas. And so are our tempers. Could you sum up all you have to say in 8 words or less? 8 words? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Yeah, that is 8 words. I don't know why it took me that long to count, but yeah. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Ah yes, because you said it was yours. I don't want to keep looking at this.
that locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit.
Oh, the white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. He put the coat in there. And that's how he would have had gotten blood in his hand. Now I get it. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order. It would seem that's only...
Hold the horses. Sorry, partner. Well, you got the wrong man. So if my locker was opened, that doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Murderer needed to hide something, so I opened the locker and stuck it there. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Yep. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really is dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah, I'll call your bluff. You can talk the talk, alright, but you got a long ways to go before you can walk the walk. Eh? Ah. That's the one I should have done. Hey, fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. But what kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Oh. I only got one word for you, partner. No!
Order. Witness, explain yourself.
This joke is the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Why? Why?
Olé. Please answer the question.
Why is he now a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can.
Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
Seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it.
Wait. Mr. Marshall was standing right here. Yeah, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. No. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out though that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his cards, yeah. He suddenly pulled a knife, yes. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
Answer is simple, he couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized that the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? I've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. We're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dress up as the victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
You said that already.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond the shadow of a doubt the Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, what am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's obvious he's the one. What can I do? Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. Dun. Everything is going there. Gonna retweet. Okay, for me that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime, except to hide the thing. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. I mean, he didn't originally plan to open his locker. Yeah.
Or, according to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up with Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. Okay, but... Mm-hmm. She's not a very great fast forward. Mm-hmm. For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked. You stabbed him in the hand or whatever, and the white coat he was wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Whenever an Ace Attorney character just faces the camera, it's always weird. Now then, Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated you. I hope you're happy now, Miss Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all would have to be here now. We all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. The time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. Couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him, planned to take out the evidence. Wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. Micah says he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, I guess we're examining. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? Cell 9 incident, 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It's going to be completely end with the transfer that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. The incident is not over. What did you hope to accomplish by sneaking in the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. Don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I... Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer. I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. A detective's ID card? Sold at the morning of the incident. Huh? So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card, left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left So essentially, you might succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. Or you could because of a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Marshall. But he's not there. I was expecting Officer Meekins and knocked him out. Pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. As I say, I was a little surprised. Only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. He's taking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I have to think a little more about his race this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. So I had to turn out this way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say.
So you knocked him off some.
Why did you explain? So, you did your research beforehand. As well going to the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, your bloody coat and your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. Open my locker, stash it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing that time? Well, he was sleeping like a baby.
So what are you saying on that? You're saying this on that day?
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. Are you blind? That was Officer Meekins. No, I didn't. He didn't steal it. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Sedgworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor. Huh. The Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one more thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. It's mine. I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
Do it. This has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
You know why? That case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the
evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is that he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. Feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later, everyone involved here is related in some way to the case. Better take another look at the files. Yeah. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Neil Marshall, oh yeah. Page 2. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Aloe vera? But that's something different. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned here. The list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Oh. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What?
What?
A prosecutor. Must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay, water. I might end the stream whenever I'm done with this part of the trial. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Huh. Joe Dark. My brother thought Dark was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happened by chance never cease to amaze me. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It gotta be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky.
Wait. What verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial?
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. They're here to remain the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me this boy's gotta draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. No. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely uncontestable. If you have any response, make a single word or less. I rest my case. Object. Still no the first person on the thing.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for that.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt our proof today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake. I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Now then, the trial for this verdict has arrived.
This court find defendants. Objection. Hold it. There you are. Your Honor, wait. Emma. Hans has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right?
Miss Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? Oh, innocence. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Miss Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Duck killings. Now that you mentioned it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day? So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found in the Sifus Gamsu's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find the clue. So I went over there and looked there again.
So, did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not as much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
And Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, that's right. With regard to the incident to the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be more use, but still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please, Mr. Oh.
Could there be something I'm missing?
Checked anyway. Handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you grasping. That's right. We've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Oh yeah, that would have been when... Ah, the Blue Badger was covering it at the time. Ah. I guess that's how we can link that to the... Okay, I see. Missing. You mean something has been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. But this way the defense is simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. All this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. As they say back west, even a blind man can hit with a buckshot. And that is as long as he's facing the general direction. Seems Mr. Wright is not sure which direction to face. So wasn't that? How about that piece of plywood? Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, friend of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Okay, so I get the point, but oh, he goes in front of it. Okay, yeah, never mind. I was just mistaken about you. Well, what? Aha. Haha. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? Nice animation. So, so that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on the locker.
Right. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there, that's what he said.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma.
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room. After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
This moment. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. My sound far-fetched, Your Honor. That's only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by security camera. Officer Meekins got his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown in this tape. It had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I officially accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? Well, I know. There's only one thing that hasn't been explained yet. To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, when the incident took place in the evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence?
Has to be that.
At the time crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the blue badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 PM. If the crime took place before that time, there would be 4:40 PM. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured that you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot to thought to figure it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second time took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have been taken before Miss Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. I'll probably add a couple of more 7s, but whatever. There's only one other card number remaining. 7 7s. Talk about the lucky number. Talk about the lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777. Miss Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is there. 777777777. That's 1 7 too many, Yana. Fortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of the ID card, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son.
ID number 77 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge. You're on a lie, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 77's. Don't blame me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. SL9. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I had him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Lana. I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law, but before I realized it, we were the ones suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I just ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. Do you really present all the evidence to court? Can you look me, an investigating that crime, in the eye and say you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Classic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No.
Order.
Order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. Chaos and will not be. It have thing the I had to work next day, something. Day 3 investigation. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna end it here. It's been a long day for me. And I have a lot to do. Like, I have to... that doesn't do anything. So, I just wanted to say that thanks everybody for watching. I had a long day. I was rushing for the last 2 days to finish a piece for a project, and at the moment I am completely helpless with the Premiere Pro. It just doesn't want to render whatever I throw at it. Small stuff, but I can't render the last Phoenix Wright stream. No, not Phoenix Wright, Hades stream. So I'm gonna I'm gonna move to a different renderer. No, not renderer, a different video editor. And until then, I'm gonna have to see what I can do. So that's something I have to deal with. And otherwise, so yeah, I have now 3. This will be the 3rd stream that I haven't edited. So till Wednesday, I need to find a different video editing program, learn it, then edit 3 streams, upload them, and all that. So I am not in the good place, time-wise. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And see you next stream on Wednesday with Hades.